Hey, good morning. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I've done a video, I think like 2 weeks or something. Been a tremendous amount going on, and some of it very mentally and emotionally taxing, so to speak, and a lot of changes going on. And when that sort of thing happens, my old footholds, foundations of how I've been doing things, and generally speaking, doing them for a long time, those have been uprooted. And so there's not a lot firm to be standing on in some respect. And of course, calm seas have never produced a skilled sailor. It's only when we're going through the turbulence, through the storm, through the gust of wind, we tend to grow, expand, stretch, and then all of a sudden we have more, and then we kind of coast along, get some calm seas, and my life has been a progression of doing that, so to speak. And so thankfully the calm lasts a lot longer than it did 10 or 15 years ago. Now, one of the biggest things that's happening is that one of the people that worked for me, I went to them and said, hey, do you want to be project manager? And this is what it's going to entail. They do a schedule as far as, okay, on this day, this is what we're going to accomplish. This is the amount of time it's going to take. These are the materials that I'm going to need. And that way we have a lot better accountability. And here's a big tip for you. Anything that you measure, you can track. And the thing is that you want to be able to do that, and you need that so that you know exactly what is happening. Now, the reason for that with me is that I got a house done, 5 or 6 months ago, and I had paid cash for it, or I take that back. It was $20,000, and I put $1,000 down on it and been paying, I think, like $1.89 for 2 years. Okay, well, I had gotten enough money. We went in, redid it, got it to the point where it was done, got it rented out, and I turned around and I got a loan on it. And so I got that mortgage on it, so I got a chunk of money. And my whole plan had been is that, I've had about, I think, 5 places that have been sitting for a couple of years. And the reason for that is that we go and do work for other people. Then we'd come back, I'd build up some cash in the company. Then we'd work on my stuff, get another property up and going. Then we'd go and do something else, and just because the amount of money that the business from the rentals were making, not totally self-sustaining. So we had to do that. Well, it's gotten to a point now where it is self-sustaining in the sense, but it doesn't build up any reserves, okay? And so finally got to a point, had a big chunk of money sitting in the bank, said, I'm going to go ahead this year getting everything that I own up and going so that I have that cash flow, okay? And I've got a long-term plan that I'm kind of looking at in the sense of winding things down, kind of getting retired and, or not working, 6, 7 days a week, get it to the point where I'm only working 3 days a week or, 5 days a week, but, 7 to 12, something like that, okay? Well, to be able to do, and I've got 1 or 2 choices. I can either have this person working for me that has a vested interest, and I am a big proponent on this, okay? If you're doing well, those that help you get to that point, treat them good too, and that especially means financially. I see so many times that, people are going to drive a Bentley and want to pay $10 an hour. If that's you, okay, me personally, though, I have always believed that, those that help me get to the point that I want to be at, I need to bring them along. However, this is the caveat to that is that you need to take care of you first. And the reason for that is that if your cup is full, then you can pour from it. If you have an empty cup, you can't pour from that, okay? So take care of yourself first, but then make sure you take good care of those that help you as well, okay? So then, they agreed to take on the position, so we're doing that. Now, that's a learning curve, okay? And it's not like everything that I'm doing, boom, that person's going to, the very next day pick it up and start running with it. There's a progression that happens, and more each week. we go in depth as far as, this is what needs to occur. These are the things that need to happen. This is when it needs to happen. Those type of things. You can eat an elephant one forkful at a time. You can't eat half of them in one bite. So I got that going on. Next thing I got going on is I had somebody that moved out of properties. And so this property is the furthest one north in my city. It's like 10 miles north of anything else that I own, all right? And so what I ended up doing is that I've had that property for about 1.5 years now. And so I decided that I was just going to go ahead and do owner finance on it. And so I did, I basically had bought the property, paid cash for it, doubled the price, and then asked for a $10,000 down payment. And the term is 30 years. And so within 72 hours, I had the first part of the down payment, and then 3 days later, I had the second part. So, and here's the thing is that has always been my exit strategy long term on getting my life where I have more time, okay? And that's the only thing that I want with this whole gig is more time, okay? More freedom, and freedom comes with having money, all right? And if you don't believe that, then you just need to hit the stop button, get off the channel because you're clueless, okay? It really does. In this country, if you got $5, you can get a drink at McDonald's. If you got $15, you can get a Big Mac, value meal, whatever they call them. But if you got $100, you can go somewhere and you could either get a drink, a Happy Meal, or you can get a steak, okay? And that's what I'm saying is that because of having more money, you have more options. What are options? Options are choices. If you have more choices, you have more freedom, okay? And so the thing is that that's how we do things in this country. It is as of right now, so you better enjoy it while you can, we are a capitalist society in the United States of America. We have what we call a free market enterprise to some degree, okay? And if you can charge $500 for a hamburger and get them sold, guess what? You can do that. There's nothing that regulates it and says you can't charge more than $20 for a hamburger, thank God. If you don't realize how important that is, then you need to get off the channel as well, because it is extremely important for people like you and I if you're looking to build financial independence, okay? So then I ended up doing owner finance on this property, and I'm very happy about that, okay? Somebody else got a good opportunity. I got some cheese, and I'm going to be getting a payment, and I'm not going to be getting any phone calls for the next 30 years, okay? Where I'm at in life in my 50s, if I live to 80 and everything, that'd be fantastic. So this helps with the long-term goal. This helps with the short-term goal as well. Thumbs up with all of that, all right? Now, I've got 2 people that leases are coming up for renewal. Contacted both of them and said, hey, we'd love for you to stay, but, if there's going to be an increase, hope you want to stay. This is what you're looking at. One person I said, I don't need to have an answer right now, but I do need one at the end of the month. I screwed up. This is my fault. I contacted them yesterday. Yes, on a Sunday. Okay. It's not a totally strictly business-like relationship in the sense that they work for somebody that I know that I have dealings with. If I see them in public, I say, hey, how you doing? That sort of thing and whatnot. And so that's my fault for contacting them on basically a non-working day, okay? And they took offense to that because I asked them about, are you renewing? They were like, well, it's obvious that you either want me gone or you want an answer now, and you're putting me in a bind. I don't have any choice. Well, you always have a choice, okay? The choice might be don't pay it and be homeless, and that's a choice. It's not one that you might find favorable, but it is a choice. The other thing that starts to happen is that, I'm no longer going to respond to any text messages that aren't during business hours, and you crossed the line of being friendly. I thought you cared and everything because I've gone up on the rent, okay? And in my lease, it does say that you need to give me notice 60 days in advance if you plan on staying and basically re-upping, okay? So, you know, as a landlord, very rarely do people read their leases, okay? They're happy to get a place. They're going to sign everything. Oh, that sounds reasonable and everything. But then when it comes time and you hold them accountable, it sucks. And make sure you keep every piece of paper that you can and keep any documentation as well, especially any type of contacts or conversations or anything of that nature as well. And so I've had that I'm dealing with, and I'm not sure what it is that how I'm gonna handle that situation, because now that it's, for lack of better words, the person has shown who they really are. You know, it's one of these things that, you know, I choose to work a low-paying job, therefore you should keep my rent low so I can maintain my standard of living. I don't have any interest in you whatsoever, none, and no, that's not my job. You're not paying my bills. You're not, you know, doing any type of, you know, side work a few hours a day, cleaning up, you know, or, you know, whatever it is, but you're not, you know, it's just not there, okay? And this is not my problem, you know, and this is something that I see happen quite frequently. I've had, you know, renters tell me, say, man, I can't pay that kind of money. I'm only making $15 an hour. And I'm like, dude, you got a strong back, no felonies. It's no problem for you to go out and start out at $20 an hour right now, you know, but they want to stay where they're at. But as things keep going up in price, they don't want to make any kind of adjustments. And if you want to stay where you're at, that's fine. Just understand that things will continue to go up in price, which means that your dollar is worth less. So your standard of living is going to be less. What you can afford to do is going to be less. The freedoms you enjoy are going to be less. I don't make the rules, folks, but I do have to play by them. And I also know that it is very detrimental to people that if you have rental properties and do not charge market rate. Well, why is that, Robert? It's my property. I can do with it as I want. I'm glad you asked. Here's the thing is that if you don't charge market rate and you ever sell that property and another person buys it, 9 times out of 10, they're going to raise the rent within 60 days, okay? Because they have to, all right? I run a business. I don't run a charity, okay? Now, I'll just give this for an example. You have a piece of property that's worth $1,200 a month. You charge $700. You're losing $500 a month on it, okay? That's $6,000 a year. We'll just say you have that property for 5 years. So you've lost $30,000 on unrealized rents because you're below market rate, okay? You go to sell the property. Oh, you need a new roof. Well, that's $12,000. Oh, you don't have that because you didn't charge market rate. Oh, the cost of the roof has gone up 5% every year also, so now it's 30% more than what you would have paid before. Oh, but you're not charging market rate. Here's the thing is that if you plan on keeping that person with you for the rest of your life and you build this utopia for them as far as how they pay bills, there's nothing wrong. This doesn't apply to you. However, if you are doing this as a business, then you damn sure need to be charging market rates. Now, I understand if you want to slide $50 or $100 because they're a great tenant, you've had long-term history with them or something of that nature, I get it. But when you're doing it more than that, you are seriously affecting your bottom line and you are damaging your business. The other thing is that, you know, as these costs go up, your cash flow is not. You know, I've had some pretty extreme insurance increases in the last year, things that I can't control, properties that, you know, it goes up to $300 a month because of increases in insurance. In Florida, we're the hurricane state, all right? Hurricane blows through, there's not a damn thing I can do to keep my insurance rates lower. I can't complain to the state of Florida and say, hey, they're charging me too much. You know, either I have insurance or I don't, all right? This is the game that I play. It's a choice that I make, all right? It's not the insurance company's fault or anything of that nature. This is a choice that I make, okay? So there's been a lot that's been going on, a lot of changes that are coming. And once we, for lack of better words, get through the turbulence of getting it working, getting everything smoothed out, and then smooth sailing, it'll be wonderful. And this is definitely getting more towards the long-term goal and everything. And so I will update you on exactly how these things turn out with the properties. I hope you have a great day. If you need 15 minutes of my time free of charge, then send me an email with your phone number and I will give you a call. Have a wonderful day.